Guys, quiet down.
He's a sophomore.
You're lying.
Okay.
You're really a sophomore?
So, what? I haven't even said anything. Today we're multiplying equations and dividing equations. So we're still doing operations on equations. Okay? So I don't know why I have this example box either on this one.
Alright, hold on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for putting your headphones away to listen. Okay. Earbuds? Okay. So number one wants me to multiply the two together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have f of g, or f times g of x. That's just what it wants me to do. And then I have x squared times the square root of x. No, these ones are multiplying and dividing. So questions what I've done so far?
Oh, so you just do the same thing as like how we did, but just
Multiplying and dividing, yeah. Okay, so then I want to rewrite my second x to have a number exponent. How can I rewrite the square root of x? No, what's the exponent on it? I want to turn this into an exponent. We learned this.
X squared.
No. We learned this. Man, I'm so bad at this. I want to say the second week back.
Fraction.
Fraction, yeah, 1/2. Remember, square root is the same thing as fraction, or anytime you see the radical. No, I'm doing this so I can add my exponents. Because I'm writing x twice right now, I just want to write it once. So then, I have to add my exponents. So...
No.
What? It's not the worst thing in the world, Jerry. I'm adding exponents. I'm adding exponents, that's not doing... Oh wait, I had a calculator, what am I doing? So, you could have done this all along. When you're adding exponents, you can do them on the calculator. So I have 2 plus 1/2.
So every time
You, Angel?
it's in a radical, it goes only 1/2.
Unless there's like a little tiny number there, then it's 1 over that little tiny number.
This is like your husband.
Fiancé.
Husband, fiance. I don't think you know.
Okay, so then, what do I get when I add 2.5? 2 by 5, but I still want this to be a fraction. Do you remember how I turned decimals into fractions on the calculator? That sounds really bad, but you're right. You press the button that says math. Where is it? Right here, it's under the green button. And then you press enter twice. So 5 over 2. Because 2.5.
Or use the fraction.
No, it only works with halves. Then you just do the calculator math fraction. There's a more complicated way to do it by hand, but I don't know, Jerry. We'll go through it and then we'll see. No. This one also wants my domain. So my domain is gonna be, is there anything I can't plug in? Remember, one of the things I multiplied by was the square root. Close. More than. If it's what? If the exponent is odd. If it's a whole number or odd, like in the fraction part, like the denominator, if the denominator is odd or it's a whole number, then it's all real numbers. No, because you can't take the square root of negative numbers. Remember, they're imaginary. Huh? Yes. 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 No, it doesn't matter about the base, it matters about the exponent. If the exponent is a whole number, or like 1 over 3, so a fraction with an odd denominator, all real numbers. So the only time it's not is if I have a fraction with an even denominator. Yes. Girls, be quiet. What'd you say, Stephanie? Yes, it would still be. Okay, then the final piece, it wants me to plug in 9. So I'm going to plug in 9 to that equation I boxed. I could do this by hand, or I can type it in the calculator. What do you want me to do? Okay, so I'm going to type it in. It's going to be, 9 to the 5 divided by 2, right? Huh? 243. You hate typing things into a calculator, Jerry? What don't you understand? So, when it... Okay, so, you see how these two letters are written next to each other? Yeah, so what I did was I took the two equations and I multiplied them together. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, you are way too loud. Yeah. I added my exponents. So 2 plus 1/2 is 5/2. Huh? Remember, like, if exponents tell you how many of each you have. So that's why you add exponents. Because the exponents themselves aren't multiplying, the base is multiplying. Yeah. Okay.
So on the next one, we'll need 6, x,
So number 2, I'm actually dividing, because it has f of g in the parentheses. Or f divided by g. So then I'm going to write f of x on top, which is 6 over x, and then x to the 3/4 on the bottom.
Whoa.
I just divided them, Jerry. The two equations.
Oh, okay, so it's dividing.
Yeah. No, it's a secret one. Why does my green pen hate me? The green pen hates me. I think I actually got this one from Walmart. Because I ran out of, like, my green pen ran out of ink, so I just, like, went and picked up a 3-pack of greens. Okay, so when I'm dividing, remember I subtract my exponents. Well, no, I have 1 minus... Yeah, the x on top has an imaginary... I really hate this. Yeah, 1 minus 3/4. I can multiply, or I can type this straight into the calculator. I want it as a fraction. So, here. So, in the calculator, I'm doing 1 minus 3/4. You guys understand that part? Okay. So it gives me 0.25, and then I go to math, the one under the green. And you see how it says FRAC? That means fraction. And I press it twice, and it gives me the fraction. So it'll turn decimals into fractions for me. It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be 6x to the 1/4. Because when I subtract the exponents, that takes care of the x on the bottom. Yeah, That's what we did. When we subtracted the 3/4, it's kind of like canceling out the x. Yeah, so it's going to be 6x to the 1/4 is my answer. It's got an even number for the bottom of the exponent.
How do you know the minimum?
Yeah. So, Jerry, if it's a fraction and the denominator is even, it's x is greater than 0. If it's an odd denominator or a whole number, it's all real numbers.
It only matters about if it's a
Yeah. The only time it would be less than is if like the 6 was negative. Yeah, that's the only time the sign flips. When it's odd, it's all real numbers. If it's a whole number, it's all real numbers. It's only when they're fractions and they're even denominators. So, regular 4? All real numbers. I can plug in negative numbers. They can get to the 4th power. Okay. So then... Yeah. Yes? Yes. And when you divide, you subtract. Okay, so what do I get when I type this one in the calculator? Questions on number 2? I typed it in the calculator. 6 times 16 to the 1/4, because the question also wanted me to plug in 16. That's just telling me what I did. I divided the two equations. The left side tells me what I did, the right side tells me the answer.
Would they be the answers from where you
Yeah, this one's got 2 answers because it's asking for 2 things. So for number 3, I want to do all 4 things. The first thing I want to do is add. So my 2 equations are the square root of x plus the square root of 9 minus x squared. No, I'm doing all 4 operations. This one's a typo. This should be a divide. I don't know why it says plus twice. I'm probably going to do multiply and divide on the warm-up. Because we've already done that in Sutra. I know on the test it gives you a problem where you either add and you have to do add, subtract, and then plug into the add and subtract, and then a different problem where you multiply, divide, and plug into the multiply, divide. There's no problem. That's all 4. I can't remember on the homework. I'll look for that.
So now we're doing all 4.
Yes, because that's what the question wants me to do. There's going to be 8 answers. Okay. Questions on f plus g of x. Yeah, I can't do anything because the inside of the radicals are not the same. So that one just stays like that. So the minus one is going to look very similar. I just have a minus in the middle, and just like before, I can't do anything because the insides of the radical are different. Yeah. can't, because the insides of the radicals are different, I can't combine them. It's fine for adding and subtracting to leave them like this. Yeah. I would have just written a 2 on the outside because I have 2 of them. They both have secret 1s. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, then I'm going to move on to the F times G. Okay, F times G, so I'm doing the square root of x times the square root of 9 minus x squared. This one I can do. When you multiply radicals, you can multiply the numbers on the inside. Yeah. So, no. What I'm really doing is I'm doing x times 9, dang it, 9 minus x squared. So I'm going to distribute to both. Yeah, and then I got to distribute the x to the 9 minus x squared. Yeah. Yeah. So 9x minus x cubed. I don't have to give the domain on the one where I do all work. No, this one is still, it's a little bit trickier, but it's still mostly positives because of the square root. That's why you don't have to do the domain on this one, because it's trickier. Okay, then, so this, then I want to do the division one. So this one I have the square root of x over the square root of 9 minus x squared. I do. I just haven't done that yet. What do you mean? I said that already, Jerry. You mean plug in the number, or? Yeah, when I go back and plug in the number later on, I'm going to plug it into both x's. What? No. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm just going to rewrite it so the square root is over all of them. No. It stays like this. So, yeah. There's nothing to put in the calculator that I can't put it in the calculator when it still has the x. There's nothing to put in the calculator because there's a variable still. So then, now I'm going to plug in, what number is it having me plug in 2? Yeah. Once I plug in the 2, then I can plug it in the calculator. Are you sick? I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, now I can type this in the calculator. Yeah, once I type. Yes. So, what? I don't know, Jerry. Depends on what you want to do. Well, then you're going to use this, Jerry. That was the worst question for you. Okay, this one gives me 3.65. Questions on that? No, that's my answer. What are you doing? No, I know. I'm trying to think of what you need to do to get that degree.
Oh, I know what I have to do.
Do you have to take calculus? If you have to take calculus, you have to learn this in college at least. Oh, wait, I forgot to write the minus in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. This one gives me negative 0.82. I usually get her like one of those personalized calendars with like pictures and stuff for her birthday. And then she like thinks it's super awesome and I get her one every year. I just have to get like new photos every year.
I was like, cool.
Yeah. When's your mom's birthday?
Today.
It's not gonna be done in time, but you can.
When did you come up?
It's like usually a week or two. Okay, this one gives me 3.16. What? I just plugged in the 2 to the equation I had over here.
Oh, you already
Yeah.
had.
Yeah. It doesn't help that everyone's talking.
I know.
You can come in for tutoring, just not today after school. Huh? Before school tomorrow, or after school tomorrow, or before or after school next week. Okay. Questions here.
Yes.
What, Jerry?
On the multiplying one?
Mm-hmm.
What percentage we got?
Yeah.
Oh, it's this one, right?
Yeah.
And then so you just put 9 times 2
Mm-hmm. -2. Oh, yeah.
minus 2 cubed, right?
Yeah.